Shalom Aleichem, friends of the Sephardic congregation of Hellendale. This week's parasha is Parashat Trumah. In this week's parasha, the Torah speaks about all the donations that the Jewish people gave towards the construction of the Mishkan. The Mishkan was a portable temple, so to speak. It was a portable, it's called a tabernacle. It was a portable temple that traveled with the Jewish people in the desert and in fact entered with them into the land of Israel. And the Torah speaks about the construction of this Mishkan. The interesting thing is that if you have a look in the parasha, the Torah does not begin with the outer construction of the Mishkan. It begins with the various vessels that the Mishkan contained. The first one that is discussed is the Aron, the Ark. And of course the Ark contained the Torah. The Torah was placed in the Aron, in the Ark. The reason why the Aron is the first vessel that the Torah speaks about, is because the Torah is the focal point of this miniature tabernacle. You see, the purpose of the tabernacle was to create, the Mishkan was to create a home for Hashem in this world, in a sense. A way for Hashem to enter this world, in a sense, and connect with the Jewish people. And in fact become more part of the lives of the Jewish people and of course all humanity. So it makes sense that the first vessel is the Torah, because the Torah is the main vehicle through which we as human beings connect with God. The Torah, it is explained by our sages that there is nothing that connects us to God more than understanding and studying Torah. And therefore, the whole purpose of the Mishkan was to connect us to God, and therefore the Aron, which contains the Torah, which connects us to God in the most profound way, is the first vessel. And in fact, when God spoke to Moses, it was from upon the ark, upon the Aron. The Aron has many details in its construction. I would like to discuss this week just one detail about this Aron, this ark. The ark was constructed out of 3 boxes. It was really 3 boxes that each one fitted into the other one. The outer box was made out of gold. It had an inner box which was made out of wood. And finally a third outer box which was made out of gold. So there were 3 boxes. The outside was made out of gold. The middle was a wooden box. And then further in was another middle box. So you had gold on the inside and the outside, and wood in the middle. That was the construction of the Aron. Now, the question is, what do we learn about Torah and its message from this detail concerning the construction of the Aron? And there's 2 things that I would like to today focus on. The first one is the Gemara in Masechet Yuma, Daf Ayin Bet Amud Bet. The Gemara says in Masechet Yuma a very interesting thing. Amar Rova, Rova says, Kol Talmid Chacham she'ein tocho kebaro eino Talmid Chacham. Any Torah scholar whose inside is not the same as his outside is not a Torah scholar. And where do we learn that from? We learn it from this parasha, the Aron. Because the Aron had to have gold on the inside and gold on the outside. And therefore, says Rava, what do we see from there? That a Torah scholar who's represented by this Aron, by this ark, which represents Torah, has to be similar to the ark. His inside has to be gold, meaning as good as gold. Good. His inside has to be goodness and righteousness and filled with the awe of Hashem, and his outside has to match his inside. And there's a very fundamental lesson that the Torah is teaching us right here about the fundamental nature of a Torah and a Torah scholar. And that is the most important thing in Torah, is integrity. Is not to be false. Is that one's inside should be like one's outside. One should not be superficial. It's very interesting. Chazal say that the exact opposite of this is the pig. The world of Esau is symbolized by the pig. The pig has a kosher sign on the outside. It splits, it has a split hoof. You look at the pig, you think it's kosher. But on the inside, it does not chew its cud. It puts out its paws as if to say, I'm kosher, everything's good. But the inside is not like the outside. It represents superficiality. And the first and most fundamental lesson about Torah is that a Torah scholar, a Torah personality, and the Torah in fact itself, despises superficiality, despises something that looks all good and kosher on the outside, but the inside does not match the outside. There has to be a consistency, an integrity, a consistency between the inside and the outside. Superficiality and righteousness and goodness on the outside, for us, is not sufficient. The inside has to match the outside. And that's the first idea. But there's one more idea that I'd like to share with you on this concept that comes from Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, the great German scholar. And he explains as follows. If you think about it, there were three boxes. The inner one and the outer one was made out of gold, and the middle one was made out of wood. What's the symbolism of gold? Gold is a metal. And metal generally is hard. Gold is actually one of the softest metals, but nevertheless it has the nature of hardness. It is, gold is something that is not alive like a plant life, like a tree would be. Gold is something that is inanimate, completely inanimate. It's a metal, it's rigid, it's hard. And it's very interesting that the structure of this aron was, on the outside it was hard, on the inside it's hard, but the middle is made out of organic material. Not inanimate, organic material. A tree, something that contains growth and movement and development. And we learn from here, says from Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, a fantastic idea. And that is that the Torah provides us a outside and inside, a framework which we have to be within. A framework of rules and regulations, a system. But the purpose of that system is not to strangle us. The purpose of that system is to allow the wood that's inside, the organic growth, the individuality to grow appropriately within the bounds of those rules. I usually give a great analogy to this is the game of chess. If you have a game of chess, there are rules how to play chess. Now, even though there are fixed, determined rules how to play chess, if somebody doesn't keep to the rules, the game of chess is ruined. It's ruined. The game of chess has fixed rules. And despite the fact that there are rules, you'll rarely see two games of chess played exactly alike. And the idea is that within the rules, which provide the framework, within that there is individuality that is expressed. But if you take away the framework, the rules, if you're playing chess against somebody who's not keeping to the framework of the rules, it's not a pleasant game, it's a disaster. It's the same as Torah. When we keep within the framework of the system of the Torah, then no two games of chess alike, no two people are alike, all our souls are different, no two expressions exactly of Judaism are the same, but within the frameworks of the rules, it's beautiful. There's a different game all the time. There's growth, there's excitement, there's organic growth. And this is a fantastic idea that we have to realize from Shimshon Raphael Hirsch. Fantastic idea about Torah, that we have to realize that the beauty comes from keeping within the framework and growing in our individual paths within the framework of Torah. So we have those two lessons. The first lesson is, very importantly, that Torah has to have integrity. The inside has to be like the outside. Superficiality and false behavior and flattery is something against the very nature of the Torah. And we have to know that there is plenty place to express growth and individuality, but that individuality is only beautiful. It's only a great game of chess if the rules are being kept. It's only beautiful spiritual growth when it's in the framework of the laws of the Torah and mitzvot that Hashem has commanded us. Shabbat Shalom.